What's the best money you've ever spent?
I spent, there's two things. I spent 35 pence, which was 7 shillings and sixpence,
Yeah.
and I spent 37 pence. Well, the 37 pence was on a piece of scrim, which is a cloth for cleaning windows. And so that was the 37 pence. That was the best money I ever spent. And it's not this spending of not the amount of money,
Yeah.
It was because that started me off in business. I hadn't got any money,
Yeah.
and you need a scrim for cleaning windows. So that was it. You know, it was a tool I needed. It's like having a paintbrush if you're a painter.
Yeah.
So that was one, and the other one, which was 7 shillings and sixpence, I'd spent that 4 years earlier, which was the best money I've ever invested in my life. And that was for a little piece of paper, and it is a certificate, and that was a marriage certificate, and that's what it cost in them days. And I'd got this bit of paper, it's about the size of that, and it says marriage certificate, Marilyn Todd
Yeah.
is now Marilyn Wright. You know, like that, whatever it said on the certificate. I can't remember. Yeah, that was a long time. That's 50.
So that's the two best. But I suppose off the back of that, what's the worst? So the kind of biggest waste of money, or some of the worst money you've ever spent?
Oh, without a doubt, I don't know how much. I mean, I don't class losing £1 million or £500,000 in your business. I don't class that as bad money.
Yeah.
You know, that's education. But the worst money I've spent in my life, I think, is on cigarettes.
Okay.
So, you know, maybe, I don't know what they were. Maybe a few pence, maybe a couple of pounds. I smoked up until the early 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the worst money that I'd ever spent.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. People still spend that. I think it's like £10 a packet.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, it wasn't the amount of money. It was the damage it was doing.
Yeah.
You know, and you live with that for the rest of your life. The damage that it's done. Luckily, your body repairs itself, and you know it renews itself, but it's still there, lingering in the background.
Yeah.
So the worst money I ever spent was on cigarettes.
Cigarettes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
You weren't expecting that, was you?
No, not at all. I was expecting it to be kind of an expensive car or a bike
Yeah,
that didn't quite work out well.
the £500,000 I lost in one day. You know, it's on buying the wrong stock through listening to the wrong person, whatever. That's nothing. That's just education.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that.
So in your book, you mentioned that you always wanted to kind of pay £1 million a year in tax.
I did.
What's the reason behind that? Who wants to pay millions of pounds in tax?
People are earning them. A lot of money. Shed loads of money.
Well, yeah, I suppose you've got to have the money to make it. Even with £5 million a year, you must be earning at least £5 million to pay that, really.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's what it's all about.
And just to think, you know, one year we paid nearly 12 million. Oh, I'd love that every year.
Was it not hard writing that check, making
No,
that transfer?
it's lovely. It's lovely. You see, reverse psychology. People, they don't want to pay tax. And they get loads and loads of people. And I think I've read that you will help people. I understand. I want somebody like you. I've obviously got people who mitigate our tax liability.
Yeah.
We buy forests and we buy stuff that mitigates the tax. I want to do all that. I want to pay as little tax as I have to, but I want to pay millions.
Yeah.
So why? I mean, when I was on the other side, and this was working, I had a shit thinking, and my shit thinking was I work 40 hours a week, and if the person who is in control of the company, says, would you work 2 hours extra, or whatever it was, I'd go, well, I'm not doing that, because look at the amount of tax I've got to pay on that.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of tax. Well, what are you going to do? Well, I've got to catch up on Coronation Street or something. I don't know. You know, it was like, I would rather do nothing.
Yeah.
Because my mentality was saying, it's not what I'm going to get extra for that 2 hours, it's what I'm going to have to pay the government. And I resented paying. When you resent paying, you're going to be down here, you are, and that, is that mine? Making that noise? Is it yours? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I want to pay a lot of tax. Yeah. I want to mitigate the tax to the lowest I can.
Yeah.
But that lowest wants to be at least a couple of million.
Yeah.
At least.
Okay, yes. I suppose a lot of people focus on it. Why would I want to earn an extra kind of couple of £1,000 if you'll give half it to the government? Whereas you're all about just focusing on the fact that you're actually going to get more money yourself anyway, compared to sitting at home watching Coronation Street. Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
It is. Yeah, a lot of people don't believe that they can get that, but you have to go through it. You have to go through that pain. You have to go through that pain in your head of actually saying, no, that's a good idea to pay 40%. It's a good idea. I don't want to, but it's a good idea because it's getting me over.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a much bigger chunk left at the end. Would you rather have 20,000 left after you paid the tax, or would you rather have 1 million?
Yeah.
And if you've got 1 million, that means you've solved a lot more problems for people. You've helped a lot more people, and that's another thing. You know, the more money you get, usually you've helped more people, and people who are getting nothing, how many people have they helped?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they've helped a lot of people. There's a lot of people who haven't got any money that helps people. I'm talking about, you know, the masses. You know, they can't help people if they haven't got any money.
Yeah.
You know, it's a job, you know, in a lot of instances.
So even now you're looking to pay as much tax as possible, really. Yes. So I suppose that leads on perfectly.
That doesn't mean that a lot of people would think that's greedy, because from our perspective, we can live on next to nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we live on a lot less now than we did 20, 30 years ago, when we was having to go to the restaurants because we were too tired to cook, when we was having to go out every night and entertain because we was working, you know, and it's like the cost of living was far greater.
Yeah.
But it's not actually for the money, but it's a different things, different time. So lead you on to what?
Yes, it's kind of, at the moment you're still just as active as ever. You're doing just as much as ever, really.
Right.
So why haven't you retired?
Oh, that's a question that I get asked every day. Yeah. What do you class as retirement as?
Living life on the golf course and white sandy beaches.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I don't think you can do it either. So if you could, this is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So forget about this year. If you could, you would spend your life on a golf course and on a beach.
Not me personally, but that's a typical idea of retirement. I suppose in culture, everybody else, you're working till you're 65, and then that's what you do for your remaining 20 years.
Yes, if you want to work. Why work? You just said if you work till you're 65, why do you want to work? I don't want to work. I retired. Again, this is reverse psychology. I retired at 24.
Okay.
I retired from mainstream employment.
Have you ever thought about what you do as work? In terms of Kiddicare, property, that's not work?
No.
Okay.
No. I've not worked a day in my life since 1974.
Yeah.
I freed myself from the shackles of work. Mentally, I had a paradigm shift on that day.
Yeah.
The 26th of September 1974. I just changed. My life changed. I got no money, but my life changed. It says on here, this is why this book is for life and not just for Christmas. In 1974, I told the man in the dole office that had verbally gripped my balls and my life that I would look after my family myself. There was no way on this earth that I would go cap in hand to him or anyone like him ever again.
Yeah.
Well, that's powerful, that is, because can you imagine me going into business with a plan B? Can you imagine having a plan B, and the plan B is I can always go back to the dole? Can you imagine opening that door and seeing him down that corridor going, come on in, Neville, I've been expecting you in failure. You know, so therefore you don't class it as work, you class it as your life. This is my new life. This is what I'm doing, whatever it is.
Well, you can quit work, but you can't quit this, can you? It's what it is now. It's in order to succeed, you've got to make
so retirement is for people who want to retire. I very often hear people go, oh, I wish I could do that, I wish I had the guts to do that. Why don't you do it? Well, I've only got 15 years left to get the pittance, pension. So it's like they're willing to give up 15 years of their life on some shitty thing that they hate to get, I don't know, to get given a few crumbs. They've been somewhere for 30 years, they're willing to give another 15 years. So we were very lucky that in Kiddicare we had so many people who loved what they did. They were dedicated to it. It wasn't work to them. They came in, they've got a family there. We've got 125 people in the end, but vast majority treated it as their family. Their family, their friends, everything they got from Kiddicare, and they got satisfaction out of their job, because we didn't tell people what job they would be in, only for a start. They found their vocation, they found their job, and it was a free place. If you were good at something, and this is where school goes wrong, if you're bad at something, they major on the bad and they try and make you good at what you're bad at. We didn't in Kiddicare. We majored on what they were good at. Were they good at photography? Right, you're in the photography studio. Were they good at numbers? You're in the accountancy. Were they good at talking to people? You know, you're on the shop floor or whatever. And people went to the areas they were good at, and you could say we exploited that situation. We exploited it because we put them into somewhere where they were in their element and they thrived and they wanted to come to work. And the people who didn't fit because they didn't like whatever, they went. This is why we had a lot of turnover throughout the years. But the people who stayed, the core people, you know, and they were in their element. Used to love to come to work. Because it wasn't work for them.
Okay. That makes absolute sense. So it's all about creating that culture so that people aren't just there for work. They're not there just to get paid. They're there because they love what they're doing, and as a result, it's a fantastic place to work, and the customer.
And if they didn't love, what do they love? What could we give? They used to come to us and say, I'd like to work in this department. Fine. And if you don't like it, even if it's in 10 minutes, come and tell me. And then we'll put you in another one, and another, and another, until you find something you do like. And if you don't like any of it, then we'll help you go.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
They should be of use to themselves as well as the company. One of the things that used to drive me is education. If we needed to educate the staff to look after the company, and they needed to educate themselves. So if somebody stopped 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years and they'd gone with more knowledge than they came with, we'd won.
Yeah.
If they went with no more knowledge than they came with, we'd lost. We'd done a crap job on them.
Yeah.
But if they went with so much more knowledge, then we were happy.
Then you won. Yeah.
Yeah. And people go, oh, don't teach people. Don't teach people how your business works. Yeah, no, teach them how your business works, and they'll be more enthusiastic. They'll want to stop.
Yeah.
They won't want to do it themselves because they know they can see how hard it is, but they want to be in that culture of success.
Yeah.
Because they're part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely see that and agree with
And
that.
again, it's reverse psychology.
Yeah.
It's not what people do. That's why Kiddicare was such a success. That's why it made a record sum. That's why we sold 4 of them over the years.